Okay, hello and good afternoon. Welcome back to my second game of 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, Modiphius Entertainment's fantasy skirmish miniatures game, in which players either play cooperatively or play solo, which is what we're doing. We've created our warband, and if you saw episode 1, you know that it has arrived in the area's 5 leagues from the Borderlands and had its first skirmish with bandits, which went very well for us and very, very poorly for the bandits. There's one mistake I did make that I noticed when I was doing the cleanup between games, and that's that that last bandit should have just run away immediately. Didn't need a morale test. There were so many of them down at that point that the rules stated he would have just run at that point. But never mind, we did say during the narrative bit that it seemed very much like he probably didn't know in the heat of battle just how badly things were going for his side. After all, it was kind of the furthest forward. Anyway, I did a little bit of the after battle action thingy yesterday after the game, because I knew it was going to take a bit of bookkeeping and it might not have been that interesting for the people at home, so I'll just tell you what happened. The surviving heroes, which was all of them, gained some experience points each. Ekanath gained enough that he gained a new skill. He gained leadership as a skill. Also, Leonidas gained enough that he got a roll on the advancement table as well. The result of that one was that he gained 1 point in his combat skill, making him quite a formidable foe because he already had 1 point in his combat skill. Anyway, just before we get started, I'll just run you through the intro, as it were. I'm Bryan F. Irving. I'll be the player and your host this evening. I'm playing 5 Leagues from the Borderlands by Modiphius Entertainment, and the music that you'll be hearing, which I'll edit in after play, so I don't distract myself too much, is going to be by Tabletop Audio. Where we left it last time, the warband Ekanath's Panthers, who consist of 6 ferals, which are sort of beastmen, in this instance all cat-based beastmen, had arrived in the Borderlands, defeated these bandits and ambushed them while they were wandering lost, trying to find the nomad camp that a sharp-eyed shepherd did eventually point them towards, so that they ended having arrived at the camp. So we start the next session in camp, and we start with a section that we didn't see in the first episode, stage 1, preparation stage, because you don't do this on the first turn of a campaign. So, focal point of each campaign turn is usually a tabletop battle encounter, though some turns may be more peaceful than others. While a campaign turn doesn't have a specific in-roll duration, it's considered to be around about a week. This is typical, and we begin by running the preparation stage, which is what we're about to do. So the warband begins in a town. Now technically this is a nomad camp, but that's just the style of the town in these rules. So being in a town, we're able to pick from a selection of events, but the first thing we have to do, I think, is roll on the local events table. So let me just check that. Right, if you're in town, so town events is what we're going to be rolling on, and tell me what the dice type is, so let me just have a look. Well, we've gone over 50 there, so it's going to be a D100, isn't it? So let's roll a D100 and have a look and see what we got. We scored 83. Now often in this game, the higher the roll, the worse things get, but this is not the case in this instance. The townsmith has been working on something for you, so we must have made a good impression on these people, probably because we destroyed these bandits that's been giving the locals a bit of trouble. So the local smith gives you a fine standard weapon. Well, that's very nice of him, isn't it? So I need to take a note that this is page 79 I need to come back to, and then I need to go and find the standard weapons table and see just what it is he's given us. So equipment, weapons, that's page 60. Let's come down on page 60 and see what we have. So it's a fine standard weapon. So weapons types. Let me see. Now he's a smith, so it's not likely to be a missile weapon. It's likely to be a melee weapon of some description. So I'm going to imagine a smith mostly working with metals, as they do. It's probably going to be a bladed weapon of some description. What's it called? Fine basic weapon. So it is probably a sword of some description, I would say. So we gain a fine quality sword. Now what that means is, the first time that sword becomes damaged, it doesn't become damaged. It instead drops from being fine to a standard sword. And the second time it would have been damaged, it will actually become damaged, unless we've seen a smith and had it put back up in quality. So I'm just going to check which of Ekanath's Panthers actually uses a sword. Leonidas has his special bastard sword, so he's not going to swap that out. Kanji, let's see. Kanji, yeah, okay, so let's give, oh no, Kanji already has an axe, which seems to be a better weapon anyway. Balthazar has a great axe. So, it would seem that we're quite limited here actually, to who to give it to. I might actually do something unusual and give it to Ekanath, our mage, because there's nothing in this rules that say that mages can't wear armour or use any types of weapon they wish. In fact, it's made very clear that they can do exactly that. They can use any kind of weapon they wish, and they can use any kind of armour they wish. So I'm going to give Ekanath a fine quality sword in addition to the staff that he carries anyway. So that's great. So we now go back to page 79 to find out what else happens while we're in town. We've made our basic roll for town. Just see what's next. Okay, so having made that roll, our next thing is to pick some activities that we're going to be engaging in voluntarily whilst in the town. And there are two things that we can do there. Well, there are multiple things we can do, but we have two activities this week. So, well, the first thing that we need to do, actually, step 2 is hard times. During this step, you manage the finances for your warband as well as track the recovery of those injured. Well, none of us were injured, so that's good. So we have to pay our upkeep costs, and we're in a town, so a warband has many associated costs to keep functioning: food, ale, replenishing arrows. Now, that's particularly important because in our first battle, of course, one of our archers ran out of arrows pretty much immediately. He turned up with 2 arrows, I think. He managed to fire before running out. Might have been 1 in point of fact. So, we certainly need to pay for our food and lodgings and to replenish our arrows. So our warband size is 6, which means we roll a d3 in order to calculate how many gold marks it costs to support us. And that tells me what happens if we don't have enough to pay. Well, we definitely have enough to pay because we have 8 gold marks, including the 3 we took from the bandits after the fight. What was it, 2? Maybe Anyway, let us roll a d3. So I'm just going to pull up the advanced dice roller here, I think, and we will type in 1d. Oh, okay. The advanced dice roller doesn't do well with non-standard dice, so I will type in the command /roll 1d3 into the chat box, which should do it for me. It has. So it's costing us 2 gold marks in order to feed and what have you, our warband, to feed them, to keep them all nice and warm in somebody's tent, and to buy whatever ale they choose, and also to replenish those arrows, which is kind of important for things as it is. So we're making friends with these nomads. This is a relatively sizable camp. There's 100 or so nomad families here. Some living in tents, some in vardos, and they've been assembling in this area because there's a nice water supply and there's woods and all sorts. So they shouldn't have any trouble with that, with the wood for those arrows I need. So we've bought some of those, and that's part of the upkeep. Now we've got an option of what else we want to do. So we could go to the blacksmith, but that would cost us to have a crafting roll done there. We don't need anything. All of our equipment has been repaired, has not been damaged anyway. We could go foraging for herbs. We could go gambling, or we could. There's always things to be done at a settlement. You can involve yourself in some hard work, gain 1 gold mark in pay, and take an 8+ crafting test to receive an additional mark. Well, we do appear to be popular here. The blacksmith gave us a weapon, so there must be a reason we're popular. And although we did kill those bandits for them, they weren't a huge threat. So I'm going to assume one of the reasons we're popular is we've really gotten stuck in and helped out with some work. So we're going to take the hard work action this round as well, which means we get 1 gold, and if I pass a crafting test of 8 or better, we'll receive an additional gold mark. So let's just see if anybody has a crafting skill that would give us a bonus to that. I'm not spotting any of our... yes, we have. Kanji has crafting, in point of fact. So that means I get +2 to this d6 dice roll. D6 dice roll, that doesn't sound right to me. Yeah, so it would be a proficiency test, so I just need to double check how proficiency tests work, because I think that might be 2d6. So let me find proficiency checks on... so I think it's listed under skills, if I remember rightly. Proficiency checks, there we go, 52. 2d6, yeah. So I need to beat 8 on 2d6, and I get a single bonus of +2 because Kanji has crafting. So, we haven't managed. So, we haven't, oh no, wait a minute, we rolled 6. I haven't added the 2 yet. That's 8. So we have managed it. So those 2 gold marks we had to spend for our upkeep, we get those back, so we're still on 8, so that's really, really good news. So we've still got another action to take whilst we're in town. So let's just take a closer look at what those are going to be. So back to preparation. Excuse me. So what else are we going to do while we're in town? That's a question. We've got a second action. I'm going to find out what we can see what we're working and do it with. So we could gamble, hard work, help the town guard. Again, that might put us in good with the locals. Meet the locals, that might be a better one for us at this point. Pray. Recruit, well, we're doing quite well with the team we've got. If we increase the team, it will increase our upkeep costs, which we can't really afford at the moment. We're just a starting warband. Let's build our resources before we do that. We could study and we could train. Well, I am tempted to train because obviously that will help us gain things, stats that we can use later. But I also think it's probably important to meet the locals. So let's go and meet our current neighbours, shall we? Let's find and meet the locals option. If I sound slightly bunged up, by the way, I am developing a cold, so I do apologise. So meet the locals. You spend time talking to the good folk of the town. Roll D100 on the meet the locals table above to see how it goes. Make sure to use the right column for the settlement size. Okay, so this is a this one's a hamlet, I do believe. I'm just going to double check in our notes. So it's the smaller of the bandit camps. Campaign region 1 notes. Settlements. Hamlet is actually the trading hub up north. So the smaller of the two bandit nomad camps is a village. So I need to roll on the village tables of meet the locals. This is D100 roll again, so let's roll D100. 70. Let's have a look. And village. Okay, so we're spending some time having a drink. The locals are brewing some quite interesting drinks here, so we're spending some time having a drink, getting to know the locals a little bit. We're just kind of relaxing and hanging out with them, and the locals have become quite firm friends. We're cracking jokes with them, we're joking with them and listening to their stories and telling our own, and the result of which is it's nice to take a moment to relax. You may add one story point. So our story points go back up to 3 because remember we used one in the battle last time. So that's handy, we've gotten that back. So what do we do next? Let's see now. Step 4 already. Oh, I missed a step. Oh no, we are at step 4. Okay. Trade. During this step you can buy and sell equipment in any order you like. You can buy anything listed on the common goods table on page 88, but only one of each item can be bought per campaign turn. Additionally, if you're in a village you may roll once on the rare goods table. If you're in a town you may roll twice. If you like you can buy either or both items for the cost listed. Hamlets do not receive rare goods. Well, we're in a village. It's ironic because hamlets don't receive rare goods, because in this game when we randomly rolled the sizes of the towns and what the towns do, the hamlet was actually the market town, but it's the least place likely out of the 3 settlements to actually find rare goods. But that's okay because we're not in the hamlet, we're not in the market town, we're not in the camp. So I think we are going to roll once on the rare goods table on page 89, which is a little bit further down. As you can see, this is a game with a lot of tables in it, but then it kind of has to be because it doesn't have the games master to be making adjudications. So 89, we have the rare goods table, and I'm going to roll and see what comes up. 5, okay. A weapon of choice, it's a fine weapon. Select any weapon on the common goods list, add +5 to the cost. Oh, I can't afford that. I cannot afford that. I've only got 8, so I'm going to have to let that go, unfortunately. Much as it pains me to do so, I'm going to have to let that go. I had my eye on it, but I couldn't afford it. Even with the work we've been doing for the town, it's a no-go. So a little bit disappointing, but never mind. So adventuring stage, we can trade. We need step 5, which is research. That's the one that comes up next. So I need to find step 5 first of all. Step 7, step 5, research. You may wish to do some preparatory work for your adventures ahead. During this step you may carry out roll for connections, or you may attempt to track down a camp or hideout. Okay, well, it's a little bit early for me to be making rolls for camps and hideouts, so I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to roll for connection. That's another D100. We scored 66 this time. You may take the offer of a contract, see page 100. Ah, well, we were wanting to make some more money, so let's take a look at page 100. See what contracts the nomads might have for us that we might be interested in. So page 98 I'm at the moment. 100, here we go. Contract, source table, contract type table, okay. Someone needs a job doing and is willing to pay you in coin, gratitude, or perhaps both. If a contract is offered to you, generate the details using the tables below. You can generate all details of each contract before deciding if you want to accept them. If multiple contracts are offered at the same time, you can accept only one. You need to roll D100 twice. The first roll to determine the source of the contract. So let's have a look. 98. 98. So a local noble, so one of the tribal elders presumably, has decided to offer us a contract. It's quite a good one, a D6 plus 2 gold marks for this one. So I'm just going to jot down the contract. This is contract number 1. Local noble. 1d6 plus 2 marks. Let's see what type of contract he's interested in having us do. $25. So deliver goods. It's a delivery quest. Okay. Deliver goods. Okay, so he must have something he needs delivering somewhere. So let me see if we can find some more details on that. Deliver goods. An item must be picked up and then delivered safely to a recipient. Randomly determine 2 different settlements on the map. 2 different settlements on the map. Okay, well there are only 3 and I'm standing in one of them. So, let's see the other 2. You must travel to the first settlement, which may be the current one. Ah, right, okay. Pick up the item, then travel to the second one to deliver it. Okay. Well, it does say randomly determined, so there are only 3. So we're going to roll. I think we'll roll a d6. 1 or 2, it's the market. Shambhala market. 3 or 4, and it's the place we're standing in, and anything higher is the other bandit camp. The other, I keep saying bandit, I really don't mean it. Okay, so we have to collect from Shambhala market. Now let's see where we have to deliver it to. 5. Okay, so, and we have to deliver to large bandit camp. So that's in square 16. Okay, so this is quite a major quest. There's a lot of. It's going to take us weeks to complete this. So let's just see how that pans out. The package must be delivered within 4 campaign turns. So time limit. This is going to be difficult. 4 campaign turns. I don't actually think that's going to be possible. It's going to take us from here. It'll take a campaign turn across. Well, no, not necessarily. It might be possible. do that. See, it is a good one, but it's I mean, these two settlements are on opposite sides of the lake. Shambhala Market on the northern side of the lake there, and the large bandit. I keep saying bandit. I really don't mean it. The large nomad town. Actually, I'm wrong. A large nomad town is just one along from Shambhala Market. Okay, so the merchant obviously has some kind of contact there that's waiting for something. Why he's not going for this himself, I don't know. But haven't seen where it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can make that easily enough in four campaign turns. So I think we are going to take that. I think we're going to accept that contract. So we have a contract to collect an item and deliver it to the other nomad trading company. Nomad camp. So let me see what we do next. So 89, I think we're at. So step 6. Decide your adventure. Choose what you would like to do this campaign turn. Following options detailed fully in the adventure section. So we can explore a location, battle an enemy threat, ride a patrol, carry out a contract, which is what we're going to do. We're going to carry out a contract by heading off north. So we need to outfit for adventure. Once you know where you're going, select which equipment you will need going on your belts and in your packs. So walk down the band may bring up to 8 items in their collective backpack. These are the items that you can utilise during the encounter. Okay, so we can carry everything we currently own. That's, we've got 8 points in our backpack, and then everybody can wear or carry stuff as well. So everybody's going to keep the same equipment they used last time. We're going to keep it that way around for ease. Everybody is equipped appropriately. So we're going to have to leave shortly. That was our outfit for adventure section. So is there a section here, or do we just move on now? Yeah, looks like we just move on now. So adventuring stage. Adventuring stage you might be look at. Second stage of the campaign turn is the adventuring stage. During this stage you embark on the adventure you chose for this campaign during so explore the battle an enemy. Carry out a contract. Select this option if you want to get paid. This option is only available if the contract has been offered to you. Proceed to the contracts chapter of this section. This may require travel. So I'm on pages 100 and 111 of pages I need to find. A lot of page flipping in this game. That's okay. So page 100. Contract. Someone needs a job doing. We already know what the job is that I'd like us to do. We know they've given us 4 campaign turns to do it. So our next 4 campaign turns are all going to have to be concentrating on this job. So the next thing up will be to travel. So we need to go to page 111 and see what misfortunes occur to us during our travel. Okay, so 111. Nearly there now. Okay, so travel. When you want to go somewhere in the campaign world, you'll need to travel. That does not surprise me. This means triggering. This might mean tagging along with a trade caravan. We'll presume that this merchant that has asked us to deliver something is coming as far as Shambhala Market with us. I'm going to assume that. And at Shambhala Market he's going to then have us go off and do the final delivery for whatever reason. It exists as a series of map areas for the sake of playability. Specific distances are tracked. If the location you used to go to is not in the map area where you are currently located, you must travel there. Roll on the travel events below. This will always be the case if you in your first campaign turn. A single travel roll always allows you to reach any location on the map. Right, okay. So, we don't have to go one section at a time. One travel roll will take us all the way to Shambhala Market. So this isn't going to take as many campaign turns as we feared. So that's good news. So I'm going to make a single travel roll and see what happens to us en route to Shambhala Market. Just please don't let us get lost again. We're going to become a laughing stock. 49. Meet someone. Roll up a traveller encounter. See page 114. So 114. We have a traveller encounter. And we have encountered an entertainer with an asterisk. Let's see what that is. Can't actually see any explanation. Right. Encounters marked with an asterisk are general meetings, while those without it are unique meetings. Unique meetings do not roll for reactions. Instead, read the appropriate entry and apply any result. Okay. So while those without it are unique. So I need to roll. That's interesting. So this entertainer, I need to find out if he's friendly or not. Imagine an entertainer would at least try to be friendly to everyone, wouldn't he? Perhaps he's having a bad day, who knows. So on a 42, it would seem he is sociable. Roll on the sociable subtitle. I would imagine sociable would be a sensible thing for an entertainer. 80. Profound life advice. This entertainer is giving us some profound life advice. I imagine he's doing that by way of a story. So one night on the journey we all camped down. This entertainer has joined us that we met on the road. He comes into the camp with us for security, and in order to pay his way, share our food, he tells us all a story over the firelight, the crackling firelight, and we're all, the 6 cats and the merchant and his crew, we're all sat together listening intently to this story. This is of interest to us because we're cat people, we're films. We don't have the same kind of storytelling drive that humans have. So this is kind of new to us, and we're fascinated because we're curious. And we'd love to hear what he has to say, and we understand that this story has a moral. It's telling us something. The result of that is we get to add 1 story point. That takes us up to 4 points. That's the end of our events on the travel, and so we end at Shambhala Market. So let me just take... doesn't seem to want to let me move my little token for some reason. I'm wondering if that's on the road. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to move us up to Shambhala Market. I'm going to put the token on the correct layer, which should be the token layer, and move us back onto it. So here now we get to pick up our the item that we have to take over to the next town. So that was a fairly safe adventure. There didn't seem to be anything unpleasant happened to us in the course of that. So I would just like to check. It does say that the core of most turns is a battle, but I suspect that in this instance it wasn't because we weren't attacked. Let me just see if I'm right. So, yeah, that would seem to be it. So we've collected the item. That's the first part of our job done. So we now need to go through our campaign turn again. So we're at Shambhala Market. We're having a bit of a look around. We needed to go through those stages again. Let me just find stage 1. Step 1. Excuse me. Bit of a frog in my throat coming on. Keep going. So roll D100 on the town events table. So we've spent our however long, probably a little bit over a week I would say, because that's a long way we've travelled. Relatively quiet journey though, but we have arrived at Shambhala Market. We are going to roll to see what events happen on the day or two that we spend there. So 35. Wandering healer, a medical doctor is travelling through town and offers his services. Select an injured character. Well, we don't have an injured character, so we don't have to worry about that. A fairly uneventful journey followed by a fairly uneventful time at the market as well, so we go straight to step 2. Hard times. So once again we're forced to roll for our upkeep. There's still 6 of us, so it's still 1d3. So backslash roll 1d3. This time it's cost us 3. We must have been eating somebody out of house and home on the way up here, because it's cost us 3 points. We didn't need to replenish any weaponry or whatnot, so that must be food and drink that we've been spending on. So that leaves us with just 5 gold marks, which at this early stage of the proceedings is a little bit of a worry for us. So we have to pick 2 campaign turn activities, and we could gamble, or we could just do what we did last time and work for our living. And I think that's probably what we're going to do. We're going to have to work for our living. So let's do some hard work, which is hard work. We can help the town's guard as well. That might be our second action. But first of all, we're going to make that roll again to see if Kanji's abilities with crafts can get us an extra gold mark. Otherwise, we're up for 1 gold mark of the 3 that we spent. But Kanji's going to give it a go. For 6 with his +2. So unfortunately, his work this time isn't good enough to gain an extra gold mark. But we get 1 back, so we are on 6 gold marks of the 8 we had. Okay, so we're a little bit concerned about running through our money faster than we'd like, but we know we've got this money coming when we deliver this item. However, we are going to spend the night at the town, and we're going to help the town guard. A night of breaking up drunken brawls and watching for wolves. Well, wolves, we're cat people, so this is very much something that we would be canines. There are dangerous canines that might prey on people. Leave it to us. We'll show those canines a thing or two about bearing fangs if they come anywhere near your people. You just leave them to us. This option is not available in the hamlet. It's not available in the hamlet. Okay, so we're not doing that, as it turns out. There is no town guard to help. So we'll have to try something else. Because we really do need to do something to get our money back up, I feel, at this early stage. So just have another look at our options. We could take more hard work, I suppose, might be an option, or we could forage for herbs, but we don't really need herbs at the moment. We could take a risk and gamble it, but I don't like the look of that much. So yeah, no, we're not doing that. I'm not sure if you can take the same action twice this game sometimes you can't, so let me find something else we can do. Might be back and meet the locals again, or now we could train, because we did fancy training earlier, didn't we? So let's train instead. Let's take a look at training in case that's something else you can't do at a settlement this small. If you have time to sit around, you have time to practice. Select a hero, they receive 1 experience point. Oh, well, that's quite good. So let's see who is going to be training. So Leonidas and Ekanath both had enough experience points to make a roll the last time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a kanji, because that takes him up to 4 experience points, and with 4 experience points he gets a roll on the developmental table. So let's just have a look here. Just need to find it again. Types is not going to be there, is it? Appendices, where do we begin? Resolution. Experience points. So, Kenji now has 4 experience points, which entitles him to a roll on the advancement table. His first roll on the advancement table. He's not a mystic, so he uses the non-mystic advancement table. He rolls D100. Bosh. There we go. 7 he's rolled, which is select speed increase or a skill selection. Okay. Well, Kanji's kind of our assassin, so you've got wits, crafting. I think I'm going to take skill scouting for Kanji as well, except he already wears a ranger's cloak, so gets the bonus for that. Actually, it's ranger's cloak, I want to give him the bonus for that, or is that something else? Pathwise, scholar, speech, travelling, wilderness, wits. What was the other option again? Add a speed increase. Okay. Well, this is his first speed increase, I think. Yes, it is. So I'm going to take a speed increase. That's going to take his speed to 6 inches plus 3. 1 speed increase. Because as we saw earlier, that can be useful. Being able to head that last bandit off much more easily had he had a high speed. So yeah, I think I'm going to take that. So that is our 2 actions on the town. Just have a look. Let's see where we are now. I think we're in the adventure thing again now. I might be a few more things to do in town first, so let's just check. Scroll back. Adventures. Delves. Here we are. So that was our campaign activity. Trade, again, of course, is an option. So it's trade, then research, then decide your adventure. So let's check out the trading. We are in a marketplace here, so let's check out the trading opportunities that might bring. Trade tables. Step 4. Trade. During this step you can buy and sell equipment. If If you're in a village, you may roll once on the rare goods table. We don't get to do that. Items can be sold for 1 gold marks. Don't really want to sell anything, so let's just take a look on the common goods. Is there anything we might want to buy? Common goods. Might be. So page 88. Commons. I know what I've got my eye on, but I don't know if I can afford it. So, actually I've already got 2 archers, and you're only allowed 2 archers in your warband. So I could replace the self bow with a more powerful bow, but it's too expensive. Can't do that. There are other reasons I can't do that either. I can buy some light armor or some partial armor. Partial armor is going to really drain my finances. Yeah, do you know what? At this point, I'm not convinced there's anything here. No, we're not going to worry too much about the market either, except for, of course, collecting the item that we need to complete our quest. So trade sections done research. You may wish to do some preparatory work. Can't speak. For the adventure ahead. During this step you may carry out a roll for connections, or you may attempt to track down a camp or hideout. Well, we're in the middle of something, so we don't want to be tracking down camps and hideouts, so we're going to make a connections roll again. Let's do 100. 46. If you have a friend on your warband roster, one of them decides to send you aid. Well, we haven't. Nothing then. Nothing's happened there. Uneventful time of it we're having. So let's move down to 6. Decide your adventure. Well, we're going to carry out our contract, is what our adventure is going to be. So that leads us to outfit ourselves for adventure. We're going to keep the equipment we had the last time, and then we're going to go over to page 111 for our travel roll, as we are off from Shambhala Market, heading over towards the other nomad town in an attempt to make that delivery that we need to make. Now this is only about 4 or 5 days journey away, so it'll be the second campaign turn, providing we get there, of course. I accidentally typed 1 too few ones into there, so I've got page 11 instead of 111. So local trips, locations, you can visit anyone anytime. Well, no, it's not, it's in the next one. So travel events. Okay, so I'm going to roll a D100 to see what our travel event is. 17. Travel events 17. River crossing. Well, that makes sense, because there is a river that runs through the same square as Shambhala Market, so we've got to get across there. The market are using it obviously as a defence on one side of the river, and we're going to have to cross that river. So as you cross, you must make an 8+ travel test. If failed, the warband loses a random backpack item to the river. Oh dear me. But I don't want that to happen, so let's have a look. I'm just checking to see if anybody has any bonuses for travelling. So we have, yes, we do actually. Ekanath can give us a +1 scouting. Does that even apply here? I'm not sure it does. Just checking through. Yes, okay, so that's what that does. Okay, so Kanji again is really sort of proving his worth at the moment. He can give us a +2 on our 2d6 for our river crossing. So let's have a 2d6 roll. And that's 7, 8, 9. So we cross the river without losing any items, and we continue on our way all the way to the second nomad camp, where we get paid for delivering our item. So that's nice. So that's our first contract completed. So we get d6 plus 2 marks. 3 plus 2, so that's another 5 marks. That's looking a bit better. We're up to 11 marks now. We can write complete on that one, and you know, that's 2 campaign movements we've had with no actual adventures to be had. So we really do need to find a way to get ourselves involved in some adventuring, because we're cats and we like to be doing stuff, not for long obviously, like a nice little nap afterwards, but we do like to get ourselves in trouble as often as possible. So let's head back to the section on towns. Well, we're at a slightly larger town this time, so it could help the guard if we wanted to. That would be one of the options, but let's just work out where to do it. First thing is hard times, our upkeep costs. We'll need to spend a D3 on our upkeep, so once again, \1 D3. We rolled a 1, so we must have been more or less living off the land here, or possibly still off all the food we ate last campaign turn. So we still have 10 crowns after paying our upkeep, so that's a bit better. We feel a little bit more cautious with our money this time. So let's have a look at what we're going to do. So we're at a settlement, so we could go to the blacksmith, we could gamble, we could do some hard work. We could help the town guard, which is largely what we wanted to do the last time. We could meet the locals, pray, recruit, study, or train. So I think we're going to use I think we're going to train again. I think one of our other heroes is going to spend some time training. So let's see. Kanji made a roll last time, so I think it's Balthazar's actually already. So was it Leonidas? Oh, that as well. Okay. Okay, so yes, I think I'm going to have add a point of experience to Leonidas, so he's going to train. And then I think we will. Let's see. Don't need to recruit at the moment. Not convinced by this prayer idea. We could meet the locals, of course. Yeah, let's do that. Let's meet the locals. We're in a new place. We haven't met these guys yet, so let's do a meet of the locals. Let's see. Meet the locals. You spend time talking to the good folk. Roll 1d100 on the meet of the locals table. Make sure to use the correct column for a town of this size. Well, this is the largest settlement in these wildernesses. This wilderness. So it is a town. So it's D100 on the town roll. That is 21 on the town roll. Let's see what happened. It's a connection table. That's common goods. Rare goods. Where's the meet the locals? Meet the locals, here we go. And we were 21 in a town. So a brief chat. You talk for a little while before you each move on. Okay, so again, nothing particularly happens. We just have a bit of a chat to some of the locals. They don't tell us anything that's going to be greatly useful in our adventures. They don't have a contract for us. So we exchange some pleasantries, introduce ourselves, explain what we're doing around, just idle chit-chat, and then it's time for us to move on to the next step. So we've done campaign activities. So it is trade. Well, again, we don't really want to trade anything at the moment. We're quite happy where we are. Step 5, research. You wish to do some research, preparatory work for the adventure ahead. During this step, you can carry out a roll for connections. So let's do that to make our third connections roll of the session. 66. Take the offer contracts. So we've been offered another contract. So let's go to page 100. We're kind of a little bored. We're just tramping around at the moment. So we're really looking for something to get our big kitty fangs into. So let's hope the contract is something a bit more adventurous to fire up our blood this time. So the first roll is the source of the contract, and the second roll is the type. Yes, that's right. So the first roll, the source of the contract is a secretive group. Oh, this looks interesting. A secretive group. You know what cats are like. You know how we become interested in all the wrong things. Yes, that's really getting us curious. Curiosity and cats go together. So yes, so contract 2. We're going to take this from a secretive group. Reward would be +3 adventure points. That would really move us in the right direction as the adventure points. The more adventure points you get, the closer to the goals of the adventure. So yes, we're interested. Let's just hope it's nothing too horrific. Let's roll D100. Nothing too easy either. D100 for the type of contract. 94. 94. Slay Beast. Slay Beast. Aye. That sounds like a contract we want to take. So we are definitely making agreements to take this contract. We're going to slay the beast for the 3 adventure points that we'll get from these mysterious strangers that, oddly enough, are more curious about what they want us to do than we are about finding out who they are, because, you know, cats are a bit like that. So we haven't even quite decided what, or found out what type of beast it is when we go, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We're already sharpening our swords as we are being told what the beast is we're going to slay. We're going to find that out after the break, when we come back to discover what the beast is we have to fight, and we will actually run the combat after this little break.
Emergency, emergency, emergency. Level 4 reality failure detected at 54.975 degrees north by -1.6 1054 degrees east. Reality fracture imminent. All reality repair teams in the area respond immediately. Multiple Cassandra series entropy stalkers have been dispatched from mothership by astral gates to coordinate emergency reality repair attempts. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. Reality fracture imminent. Reality fracture imminent. Emergency, emergency, emergency.
The Entropy Effect, a new tabletop RPG by Gethsemane Games, an exploration of why sometimes reality is not as fixed as we believe. A game of half possibilities and dark science fiction horror in which the players take on the role of entropy stalkers, genetically engineered members of reality repair teams sent to stop reality from collapsing. A game in which anything is possible. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Gethsemane Games, or search for Gethsemane Games on DriveThruRPG, the world's largest online game store. Welcome back to part 2 of our second episode of 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, Ekanath's Panthers. And in our first part, we just accepted a contract to slay a beast. In our excitement, we'd taken the contract before we even found out from the mysterious benefactor what the beast they want us to slay actually is. Well, unfortunately, now we've found out. I took the liberty of making the rules in the break there while I was setting up, because I needed to set up the battle map and whatnot. And the creature that we've been sent to kill is a fiend, and quite frankly it's probably way beyond our abilities. You can now see our 6 catmen are all sat around with their jaws slightly open, their eyes wide, realising what they've got themselves in for. But they're not going to lose face. They're going to go after this thing regardless. And so they trek through the wildlands in order to find the beast's lair, which is in these hills just to the north of the settlement where the river bends. It's been terrorising the local, and terrorising would be the right term. This thing is absolutely horrific. It's yeah, it's going to be fun watching me try to beat this thing. I'm not sure I've got it in me, if I'm entirely honest, but we are going to find out one way or another. Now, I also made the roll earlier to find out if we'd found the lair, because you have to make a roll to see if you find the lair. And we have, thankfully, because it would be a bit of a slow episode otherwise. So we've found it, and now we begin with the first step in a lair raid encounter, which is scouting. Now, let's just read from the book here. Step 1, Scout Deployment. Select which single member of the warband will scout ahead and place them within 6 inches of an entry point to the battlefield. But talking at the entry point, this is where the rest of the warband will arrive from when the battle begins. Okay, so place 3 curious location markers. I've placed those as well around the table in visually appropriate locations. Playing on a dungeon time, make sure it's in different rooms, which is what we've done. Scouting the lair takes place in a series of moves. Each move the scout may move up to their normal movement speed in any direction. At the end of each move, roll 2d6. If any unusual locations are within line of sight and closer in inches than the dice roll, the closest such location has been scouted. Okay, so if any unusual locations are within line of sight and closer in inches than the dice roll. Okay, so I'm going to take us over to the battle map. Ekanath has actually chosen to be the first to go in because he firmly believes that a leader should lead by example. Also, he vastly overestimates his abilities, but still, never mind. In he goes. He's going to lead. There is another reason which might become apparent shortly. Why? So this is the entry point. I've already placed the others there rather than a single marker. It just makes it easier so that they're available when I need them. So Ekanath will be 6 from there, 2, 3, 4, 6. I'm going to put him here, and he is going to start from here. Let's just have a look now. His movement is 4 plus 3 if he dashes. Well, he isn't going to dash. He doesn't want to make too much noise and make it obvious that he is about. So he's not going to be able to move at the moment because it would seem that the program has frozen. So that's a good start. Aha. Okay, sorry about that. So whatever the problem was, I think we've got it working again. So Ekanath's going to use his, I think it's 4 speed, yeah, to come forward. Slowly and cautiously creeping down these stairs. And I think it's quite clear that we can see this red marker. That's one of the curiosity markers. It's the closest one. So I'm going to roll 2d6, and it's 1, 4, it's 5 away. So I would have to roll, let me just double check how that was phrased. If any unusual locations are within line of sight and closer in inches, so I would need to roll 6 or better. 2d6. So that's been scouted. So as that's been scouted, what that means is I have to go to the curious locations table below and make a D100 roll and see what it is Ekanath has seen in the darkness. 46. Monsters Horde. You have found some of the beast's stash. If you move into contact with the token, you may immediately roll on the loot table on page 196. Oh, well, that's good. So that's what Ekanath is going to do. He is going to creep down with his next movement. That's already been scouted, so there's no point in rolling another scout roll. And as we can see, none of the other things are in line of sight just yet. So we're going to keep going. See the green illumination seems to be unusually large on this map. I think I know what's causing that, but it's not worth fixing, to be honest. So the next movement, so round 3. Ekanath is going to head in and he's going to take this loot he's found here. So let's make a roll on the loot table, which, as it said, was page 196, and I'll need to come back to 151 when I'm done. So 196. Let's see what loot Ekanath is stealing from the unsuspecting monster, shall we? So. 4 has brought me to nice PDFs begin to drift from the actual numbers as you go through a page or so. Okay, loot table. Let's have a look now. We have a loot table 800. Okay, so let's roll D100 to see what Ekanath has found. 17. He's found weapons. Aha, excellent. Is there a sub-table for that, or do I just get it? No, there's a sub-table for that. Of course there's a sub-table for that. I've forgotten which game I was playing. D100. Let's see what the 68. He's found something from the weapons table. It is number 68. It's a fencing sword. He's found a fencing sword. Okay, well, he doesn't really need a fencing sword himself, but he is going to take it for later use to pass in to somebody else. Is it a fine fencing sword, or is it just a fencing? It's just a fencing sword. Fencing sword. So I'm imagining something like a side sword, probably. That's what he's found. So the beast is still not aware I'm here yet. Ekanath takes his next move, cautiously creeping along. Then he's still not within sight of anything. So we go on to round 5. Still not within sight of everything. So we go to round 6. 4. There he is. 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the next. Let's see. Has he been able to scout it in the darkness? He has. So you can see there's just enough light from bioluminescent fungi and glowworms and such. His kitty eyes can pick out in the darkness what it is that's lurking there in the cave. Let's find out, shall we? At 151. And roll a D100 to find out what is there. 74. 74. Now something's just occurred to me. I don't know what happens. It's not going to matter, as it turns out, but I was about to say, I don't know what happens if you don't roll the monster at all, which would be a possibility. As it happens, I have rolled the monster, so 74, it is the beast, but the beast is unaware of your presence. You may continue scouting or proceed straight to step 3, the battle. Below, ignore any results of monster tracks or the beast unaware if you roll the beast unaware at a different location. Okay, well, so we've found the beast. I'm just gonna, I should have actually brought over a little stat for this as well. However, if I type in demon in my premium assets, that's what I should have typed in. Let's use an animated demon with a bit of added entertainment. Since this is going to be a bloodbath, and my cats are going to be dropping like flies, I should imagine, fairly quickly, we'll have an animated demon. Animated. Oh, I can't find animated demons. Odd. Animated maps, clouds, conditions, environment, lightning. Moves, objects, traps, undead, waterways. How very. Now then, might it be demon animated? No. Okay, how odd. Long I need to find a demon, so let's not worry too much about it being animated, shall we not? Demon Horde animated. There you go. That's why I couldn't find it. So I think I'm going to use something suitably repellently ugly, such as this is a giant beast, because one of its attributes is size, which actually gives us a bonus to hit it. That does also mean I'm going to have to make it quite a large creature. So I'm going to use this abomination here. Take that and increase the size of the abomination. However, it doesn't know I am here. Increase the size. It doesn't know I'm here, so it's obviously facing away from me. And I'm peering around that corner as the demons there. So, Ekanath, aware of the fact that sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, is going to pull back for now. He's going to continue searching. Actually, he's not. He's going to, I think, I'm going to cast a spell, because this spell can only be used if you have less than 6 warriors on the table at the moment. Because this is a scouting exercise, currently I have. Now I am stretching the rules to breaking point here a little bit, perhaps, because this will start a fight. But I'm going to do it well, I'm going to keep the... I'm going to try and summon is the point. So I need to beat 7 on 2 dice, but I get +1 because I have, excuse me, a +1 on my casting. This is going to be one of the 3 strands that I have with me, depending on the dice roll. I may not burn it up. Let's have a look now. 6, damn. Okay, so I've attempted to cast a spell and it's failed. Unfortunately, I have attempted to summon something to help me and it hasn't worked, so growing nervous, I'm going to back off onto here. However, I know that's kind of the direction that the demon was heading in, so I've maybe been a little bit more cautious than that next round. Now I might dash, actually. I know where it is and I know I can be quick. So I am moving to there by round 8. There by round 9. I feel I've put enough space between me and the monster now, so I'm going to have another crack at summoning something. Just have +1 on this dice roll. Oh no, oh that's only 1 dice. 4, 5, 6 and 7 with my +1. That means I've successfully summoned another saber-toothed cat. I say another, I actually failed last time, which was great news for me, to be frank. But this time I managed to summon it before the fight starts, so again, as I say, kind of not breaking the rules exactly, but I am interpreting them very literally. Doesn't seem to have wanted to summon my little kitty there. Maybe it's telling me something. I have a feel. Oh well, wow. Okay, that's big. And now I've got 3 of them, which is definitely not right. So let me just delete the original fill summon. This. Let's have a bar there. So it appears next to me and it can act straight away, so I'm going to send it ahead of me. It's going to watch for any dangers and I'll catch it up, sending it all the way ahead of me. Always keeping safe like the coward have become. 1, 2, 3. Now then, I'm going to make another roll on here to find out what it is. If it's either beast unaware or beast aware, then what it means, then what it means instead is that the beast has become aware of me somehow. If it's anything else, we proceed as is. It could be a captive, it could be monster tracks, it could be nothing at all, or it could be a second horde, which is what we posed a little bit crossed for here. Or actually, the captive might come in handy because it would be an extra fighter. That would be nice. 71. No, unfortunately, the beast is now aware of me. So I'm going to say that the beast is aware. He was facing away from me earlier, so and he was heading that way. So presumably, he was coming around for a drink of water. So as he's there at the pool, gathering the water, Ekanath is here, and he sees him. He spots him. Or he hears him and he thinks, what's that big cat thing doing there? And instantly the battle begins. So shit. Oh dear. Ekanath's a little bit out on the open here as it is, so this isn't great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll initiative. Now, I believe the summoned cat just acts when Ekanath would act. So I'm going to go with that belief because it's going to speed things up a bit, and I am going to roll the excuse me, the 6 dice I need for my warband. So we'll start with 4, and then I'll roll 1 more. Okay, so I've rolled 2 2s, some 4s and some 5s. So 2 of my actors managed to act in the fast phase. So that is going to be Ekanath, is going to be one of them. I'm just going to put a little red marker on so we know that Ekanath, therefore his cat, get to act quickly. Now, who else has a Leonidas has only 1, so it can't be him. So it could be Kanji. Kanji could be a good bit of help at this point, and all the others are on 1. So it's going to have to be Kanji who gets the second 2, and the others are going to act in the slow phase. So I'll just mark them out in the slow phase. So the spell to summon the thing was already cast by the time we got there, so you see what I mean about sort of tugging at the excuse me, just a little bit. But this is my only chance of doing any harm to this thing, I would imagine. So the big cat, its speed is 6, so it's not going to be able to reach him in one go. So I think it's probably yes, I can't quite decide. I think it's going to hold its position. Actually, no, I'll move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So actually, it'll be slow because wading through the water, that counts as double. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's wading through this pool. Ekanath, on the other hand, is yelling for help from the others, is one of the things he's doing, and I think he's probably considering another spell, but none of the spells he has are really going to help him a great deal, except the possibility of premonition, so there's not a great deal of point. He doesn't have any ranged weapons, so he's not going to be able to use that. So he's kind of stuck out here on his own a little bit, so he's probably going to start retreating towards help. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he might as well dash as well. So he gets another 3 from that. So it's the beastie to go. Let's see, the beastie is horrendously powerful, but it's also a good distance away from me. However, it can move 6, but it's got to go through that water, so that's 2, 4, 6. It doesn't actually make it up to where the cat is holding Ekanath's retreating rear. Oh, I forgot to move Kanji in the thing, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, actually, I'll just have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm not sure that Kanji's not a bit faster than the other cats, so let's have a look. Yes, Kanji. He is, he's got a speed bonus out of his experience points, so he can another 2, and then he's going to dash towards the shouting of Ekanath. So 1, 2, 3 more. The demonic creature has moved and is then unable to do much else, so the rest of my guys are going to head in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay, so we've entered into the caves, ready to join the action. Just take the markers off for who was acting when, because it's all going to change in a moment as we go into the second combat phase, second combat round I should say. Okay, that goes extra. that off, and we roll 6d6 again. So this time we roll 3 1s and 2 2s, so that's 4 people are going to be able to go first if I apply these correctly. So I'll apply the 2 to Ekanath, so he can take a 2 and still move. I will apply a 2 to Kanji as well. Then we'll apply a 1 to Leonidas also, and Telion. And it'll be our second group who are the slowpokes who are moving after the enemy. So, first thing that's going to happen is Ekanath's go. So Ekanath's going to have his summoned cat attack the monster. This is going to be interesting because I don't think it's got much of a chance against the monster, but it's going to give it a go. The monster is huge, and it's going to take at least 6 points of damage to damage it. But because it's huge, the cat gets +1 to attack, so its combat becomes +1. So the cat rolls first because it's the attacker. It's 7, so the demon can beat this because the demon gets +3. 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, right. What happens if they're both the same? I don't actually know. So I'm going to have to look that up under the combat rules. I think they bounce and the cat retains the initiative as the attacker, I think. But let me just double check that. So combat, melee combat, page 40. I could have had the cat fight furiously. I think that might have been a bad idea actually under the circumstances. So if the attacker has the highest score, they strike. If the defender has the highest score, on a draw, the defender retreats 1 inch backwards with the attacker remaining in place, and the melee ends. Oh, okay. So we've driven the demon back. The ferocity of this cat's attack has actually taken it by surprise, and the demon has retreated. Ekanath, taking some heart from that, it has to be said, is going to, I think, oh dear, what's it going to do? Probably going to come, he knows the reinforcements are on the way, he knows his cat's driving this demon back. He's coming back to where he can see the fight, so he can decide better what to do about it. Kanji is going to move 6, and then dash 3. Look at that. These guys are going to run in as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Now it's the demon to go. The demon having managed to get itself back on footing is going to come in and attack Ekanath's cat because he realises it's blocking his way to ripping Ekanath limb from limb. So it's coming in for an attack. It gets +3. Can you believe it? On this d6 roll. So it's got. Okay, the dice is still. Oh, it's only rolled once. That's a 4. The cat's going to fight back, of course, so it gets +1 because of the size of the demon, and it's a 5! The cat's actually won, so the defender has the highest score. They avoid harm and they become the attacker for the next exchange. So this is the second exchange of this fight, and the cat is going to attack with a d6 +1, giving it a 4. The demon is going to fight with a d6 +3. Ah, that's also a 4. So the cat's driven this demon back again. If he can just keep this up, we might be in with a chance here. Who knows? So it is the forces that move second now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 4 should be. Yeah. Okay, so they're coming up kind of slightly more slowly than I would like, but never mind. I think I've just actually added a little blue dot there instead of taking one away. Yep, that is silly me. So I'm just going to take the dots off, ready for the next round, because the fight is actually going, I wouldn't say our way. We haven't done it any harm yet, but we've driven it back a couple of times, which has surprised all of us. So Ekanath is now going to have to roll for everybody. So it's 5d6, then a 1d6 spare. That's That's a single 2. And on the next roll, oh dear, so only one of our fighters goes first. I'm going to make it Ekanath because that means his cat does as well. And everybody else is in the slow phase. So the cat has the initiative. It's going to attack the demon. He gets +1 to hit because of the demon's size. It's only scored a 3. The demon can't really fuck this one up. Because he gets +3, so the demons manage to win. So the attacker has the highest score. They strike a blow and remain as the attacker, so it struck a blow against our poor little saber-toothed tiger. It has the demon has no bonuses to breach armor, but unfortunately for us the cat has no armor. It does have +1 against the cat's toughness of 4, so on a d6 it needs to roll a 3 or better because that extra 6. Oh no, right, okay, so it has scored a 6. That means it has wounded our cat. Now the cat's not actually a hero, so I don't think that's true. I think that's just taken out. I'm pretty sure, because it doesn't act as a hero, it acts as a creature. It doesn't have any monster points, so that cat is down, and this could be a problem because things can get very, very nasty very, very quickly. Although, wait a minute, no, now, except the cat was the attacker, wasn't it? So if the defender has a higher score, they avoid harm, they become the attacker. Had that already happened? Have I confused myself? I feel that it already happened. Yes, it had. Yeah, it had. So I'm right. The cat is down. Ekanath to go. He's probably going to try, I think, hiding behind this statue. He's going to hide behind that statue until help can arrive. And the demon is going to go next. 2, 4, 6, still wading through this water, sloshing around. Kanji, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. He's then going to dash in. 3. Leonidas bringing up the rear. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. He's dashing in that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So that force is coming in there. 3, 4, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. They're coming around behind the demon. It doesn't know yet that it's about to be caught in a pincer movement. Not actually sure how much that's going to help us, because this thing is brutal. But let's just roll the dice and see what the initiative is for the next round. So I've got a 4, a 3, a 4, a 6, and 2 1s, which means any 2 of my guys could go first. So I am thinking that Telion is going to be one of the fast reactors and Leonidas is going to be the other. Telion is going to move with a loping gait. 3, 4 to there, and it's actually still not cleared that defense, unfortunately. So Leonidas, 1, 2, 3, 4. He gets to there, so we're sort of forming a little battle line here and resist creature. 2, 4, 5, 6 gets to there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, because you're going to do a little run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. A dash is actually gets to there. That's that round gone, as everybody is kind of manoeuvring for position, so it's our turn to roll for initiative now. So we're going to roll them, and we're going to roll more. And nobody, oh no, one person is going to get to act, and it has to be one of the 2 people who have an agility of 2. So it either has to be Ekanath or Kanji. Kanji's right here, and unfortunately doesn't have any missile weapons. Because I was really hoping we could hold this thing off and try and shoot it, but that's not going to happen. So Kanji is going to bravely make an attack. Can't believe he's doing this, but he does get a bonus of +1 because he has allies right next to him. He's also got a bonus of +1 because the demon is large, so it's +2 to hit. Kanji has a combat of 0, so he rolls a d6 to hit. He gets +2 on this. That's 7. The demon, who is defending, has only scored 6, so the demon's been hit. Brilliant. So Kanji's hit him. He's got to overcome the demon's armor though. And this is not going to be as easy as all that. So the demon has an armor of 3. So Kanji needs to roll above 3 on a d6. He scored 3. Now I'm pretty sure it has to be above, but let me just double check that. It has to be higher, yes. Okay, so it hasn't, not unless I spend some points of some description to make it happen, and I really don't think I can afford to at the moment. Kanji doesn't have any luck points. I've only got 3. No, he's not going to be able to. But anyway, that's the first exchange, and he's still the attacker. That's the main thing. So he rolls a d6, and he gets +2 to his d6 for 6. That is. And the demon gets +3 though. So, oh no! The demon has seized control. So the defender has the highest score. They avoid harm, and now they become the attacker. There's 1 exchange left in this fight. Demon rolls, and it's got 6 versus Kanji, who gets +2 because his allies and the demon's big. Let's just hope Kanji can beat 6 or at least draw. He can't. No, buggeration. Okay, so the demon has hit Kanji. Its massive hammy fist has come thumping down on our poor brave Catman. The demon, well, here's some good news. It doesn't have any bonus against Kanji's armor, and Kanji is wearing light armor, so it's only 1, unfortunately. But if this is a roll of a 1, then Kanji avoids damage. 4, no, so it's gone through. Oh dear. So let's see if it takes, if it gets past his toughness, and it's got +1 to beat his toughness. Kanji's toughness is 3. So if this demon rolls a 3 or higher, then Kanji is taken out. If not, then he is instead just stunned and wounded. Oh no, Kanji's down. Kanji's down. So in that exchange he fought bravely, but then he went down thump with a cracking sound of bones as Kanji hits the ground. And things are going badly for our side already. However, that's the demon gone. That's everybody else gets to go now. So Terlion's going to move because he's a cat person. He can do that and still shoot. So can Balthazar. And if Balthazar moves to there, he can. I'm not sure he can get a shot. Let's see if we can draw a straight uninterrupted line. We can. We can because the creature's big, but I would say that's still liable to be cover because half of it's in cover. That's going to negate that +1 bonus. So let's start with Balthazar trying to shoot. In fact, let's just do these in the order I've got my warriors in the book, shall we? So we are down to just 5 fighters on the board. So just need to check what was it said about that spell. Actually, I should do Balthazar first because he has already moved, and so has Talion. So I should really actually move there. Then shooty, shouldn't I? So it's going to be hard to bring this thing down. But I do get +1, so I have to beat 5 with that one. And that's actually with the yes, with the bonus. Oh, he didn't get a bonus because things in cover. So it depends. Does Balthazar have any combat bonus? I think not. And he doesn't. So Telion is the next one to try and shoot. So he's shooting from there. 6. That's a definite hit. So he's hit. Now he has to breach the demon's armor of 2. Of 3 in point of fact. Oh, okay. Demon's armor of 3. And no, it's ricocheted off the armour and done nothing at all to this creature. Unfortunate. So the 2 archers have had no effect this round. Now we'll start with Ekanath's going to take a look at his spell list. Or I'm going to take a look at Ekanath's spell list, I should say, and see, was that 5 or fewer, did it say? Or just trying to see if I can summon another cat. Summon. This spell is only usable if you have less than 6 in your warband, including allies, on the table, and I do. So I'm going to attempt a summon, and I get +1 on this roll. And we have summoned another giant tiger. Let's see if we have fewer issues doing that than we did last time. Okay, so that's an insanely giant tiger, as happened earlier. So if I can just get the thing down to the right size, turn it the right way, and it gets an action. So it's summoned right next to Ekanath. It has to be in contact with him. It's summoned right next to him, but it does get an action this round. So its action is going to be to go into attack. It gets +1 because it's surrounded by allies in close contact with it. It's +1 because the monster is large. So he gets +2 to this dice roll. He's on the attack. He scored 7, but the demon scores 8. So the demon has avoided injury and become the attacker. Okay, so the next exchange, the demon attacks with 9. Oh, I'm afraid the cat can't beat that. It did get a 6, but it's only got +2, so it's only scored 8. So the demon has to try and overcome the cat's armour. That's automatic, so it has to now try and overcome its toughness of 4. It should fail to do, so the cat is only stunned and not wounded. That does mean it's at -1 from now on. So I need a little marker to show that it is stunned. I'm going to use I'll just use this one, I think, to show that the cat is stunned, but at least it's still in a fight. So that's a good thing. So that was Ekanath to go. Next up would be, do I dare send Leonidas in? Well, Leonidas is a proud lion, man. He's going in there, whether anybody else thinks it's a good idea or not. Not, incidentally, is what we think. But nonetheless, he's going in. He has a combat of 2. He's got +1 because the demon's large. That's 3, and he's got an ally right next to him, which is +4. So he's got +4 to hit this thing. So on a D6, and he's on the attack, he's scored 7. The demon scores 8. So the demon's become the attacker and avoided any harm. The demon takes charge of the battle. He's scored a 6. Leonidas, no! No! This is terrible. Okay, Leonidas has rolled 1, so he's only got a 4. So that means the demon has hit Leonidas. It's going to try and breach his armour though. So it's got to beat a 2. And it didn't. It didn't. So it lands a solid blow in the middle of Leonidas' chest. Thunk. But the armour just dissipates the energy. And it's the 3rd exchange. The demon's still on the attack. So it scores 7. Leonidas gets +3 on this as well, I think. So he's lost again. Oh no. So the demon's going to try and beat an armour of 2. 2. Alright. 2, and oh, it easily smashes through. So Leonidas is in trouble. He's in real trouble. He's going to be stunned at the very least, and he might yet be wounded. So let's have a look. His toughness is 3. So the demon's got to beat 3, but it does get +1 to an overcome toughness roll. It has overcome his toughness. So Leonidas is wounded. Oh god. and stunned as well. So let's just add stunned marker to them. Things are not going well for the good guys here. The cats are quickly learning that, you know, this is probably too much for them. It might be a case of having to retreat after this disastrous fight. But they're not quite there yet. So let's see if they can do that. If they can still pull it round, which I very much doubt. So who's next? Kanji, I believe, has already gone and is down and out. Wait a minute. Kanji's not down because Kanji hadn't been wounded yet. So Kanji was only ever wounded in that fight, not taken out. My mistake. I keep thinking heroes only take one wound as well, because villains do, or the average one. I mean, this monster takes 6 hits before it goes down. I will never deal with 6 hits to this thing. But yes, Kanji didn't actually go down. He's just stunned and wounded, so I need to put a stun marker on him as well as that. Okay, so Kanji has acted though, nonetheless. So it is Balthazar to go next, and he's fired. Talion has fired. Demastocles has moved. So that's it. That's the disastrous combat round over with. Thank them. Oh, that's over. Let's see if we can get a better set of initiative rolls this time. Okay. So now I think that if you're stunned, you can't win the initiative, but I could be wrong. So I need to double check that. So I have 3 combatants stunned. Dear me. What if we're stunned? A stunned combatant has been knocked senseless or lost their balance. If a stunned character must fight a melee exchange, they automatically become a defender and their opponent gains +1. Oh god. They recover from the stun after the exchange is fought, unless they're stunned again. Character that's stunned recovers automatically at the end of their phase. Right, so they were all stunned last round, so nobody is actually stunned this time. Well, that's good news. You know, by certain metrics of good news. I mean, I've still got 2 of my best fighters wounded, which is not going to go away at the end of the round. Wounded character may continue to act normally, but if they're wounded a second time, they're removed from play as a casualty. Usually a casualty will make a rule on the injury table. That's correct. Okay. So I have a 1, which I'm going to give to I actually think I'm going to give that to Leonidas so that he gets to go first. So I think he's going to need to go first. I think we're going to have to start taking some caution. So Ekanath will also act first this round, and who's the other one with an agility of 2? It is Kanji. So Kanji also gets to go first. Might see some success this round, who knows, difficult to say. So we've got 3 people going first. If Ekanath goes first, that also means his cat goes first, so the cat is going to open the proceedings by snarling and leaping forward to attack this friggin' demon. So 2 dice, no 1 dice to hit, and it gets +1 because it's got an advantage of being part of a mob that's fighting this thing. That's 5 to hit there. Then we have the demon's roll. We get +3. That's a 5, so they draw. So if they draw, then I'm going to have to double check this again, even though I did it a moment ago. I think that means they bounce, doesn't it? If I'm correct. So melee combat. changes everything. It changes if the defender has the highest score. If a draw, the defender retreats 1 inch backwards whilst the attacker remains in place, and the melee ends. So the cat has driven this beast back 1 place. Hasn't done it any damage, unfortunately, but Ekanath still has to act. So Ekanath is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then dash 1, 2, 3. He's actually closing hand to hand, believe it or not. The next person to act is going to be Leonidas, who's going to charge this beast and attack. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he is going to attack ferociously. Actually, yeah, he's going to attack ferociously. So he gets +2 because of his combat skill. He's within 1 inch of the cat, so he gets +3 in total. Oh, he gets +3 anyway because the thing is big, so it's +4 in total. So, yes, because he's got a combat skill of +2. Brilliant. 10. So the demon actually can't beat him this round. The best it could do is a 9. It actually only rolled a 6. So with a ferocious attack, that means he gets to add +1 in either an overcome armor or an overcome toughness. He thinks he can overcome the armor of 3, so he's going to save it for toughness. Does he overcome the armor? Yes. How the hell did I get that? Because I rolled 3 dice. My mistake. I'll roll that again. No, he didn't. He didn't overcome the armor. Damn. Okay. However, he's still on the attack for the second exchange. So with +4, that's a 6. So the demon's got +3. Oh, and he's beaten the demon again. So he's going to once again keep that bonus for the ferocious attack to overcome toughness. And he's overcome the armor, so the demon is at the very least going to be stunned. At the very least, it's going to be stunned. So the let's see if I can overcome its toughness of 6. However, I've got a +1 for attacking ferociously, a +1 for using a bastard sword. That's +2. So if I roll 4 or better, then I have done it. 3. Bugger. Okay, so no, the creature is, however, stunned. And I keep the initiative for the third exchange. So let's have another exchange then. Leonidas attacks again with +4. That's 9, and the demon can't beat it because he loses a point of because he's stunned. He can't actually beat it, so Leonidas has hit him. He's going to try and breach his armor without that bonus to the dice because he wants to save that for a breach. Toughness, so let's see if he can beat 3. Ah! And again he hasn't. He hasn't, but the demon is still stunned. So the next person up is Kanji, who's screaming in rage, charges in with his axe raised high and swings at the demon. Now Kanji doesn't get any combat bonus from his skill, but the demon's large, so he gets +1. He's part of a group that's fighting, so that's +2. So let's just hope he rolls well. I didn't roll that well, so that's 5. The demon is going to roll. Oh no, the demon seized the initiative. It's now here's the thing, can you seize the initiative if you are stunned? Yes, you can. Okay, so the demon's going to fight back. Okay, so the demon's now on the attack. 6 it's scored. So Kanji gets +2 here. He's also 6, so it's a he's bounced the demon back a foot and the combat has ended. It's now the demon's go. Now the demon's starting to worry a little bit, I think, but not too much. He was surprised by the ferocity of those attacks. He's stunned. He's actually, I don't think he can initiate an attack. Let's just double check that. I've forgotten already in my excitement. Let's just double check. Stunned. Well, I don't think he can initiate an attack when he's stunned. Stunned. The stunned combatant has been knocked senseless. If a stunned character must fight a melee exchange, they automatically become the defender and the opponent is +1 to combat. Oh, the opponent got +1, they didn't -1, so they recover from the stun after the exchange is fought, unless they are stunned again. Right, okay, so actually, the demon's no longer stunned, and I'd have been better off just not launching another attack after stunning it. Lesson learned, I'll know that for future. It's going to come into the attack now. I'm torn because it's got both Leonidas and Kanji in hand-to-hand combat range, so I don't know which one it's going to go for. That's a good question. Somewhere there is a either of these would be a viable next attack. So 1 to 3 and he attacks Kanji, 4, 5, 6 and he attacks Leonidas. Right, so he's attacking Kanji. Okay, poor Kanji is about to get thumped. The demon gets +3 to this dice roll. Ah, that's only a 4. Kanji gets +2 to this dice roll. Oh, and Kanji's won the round, which means that Kanji now becomes the attacker. He's avoided harm and he now becomes the attacker. He gets D6. 3, 4, 5 he scored. The demon's still getting +3. That's a 5, so he's bounced back again, another inch, driven back by the ferocity of Kanji's onslaught, and that's the demon's goal ended. So my 2 archers and Damastocles are to go next. I'll start with Balthazar, and let's have a look. This is a hell of a fight. This is going down in the annals of history if we win it. I don't think we're going to win it. We still haven't injured the thing yet, but if we do, it certainly will. Even if we just wound it and escape with our lives, I think this is yeah. So Balthazar's quite tough actually. I wonder why I'd give him the southpaw. I might be better off shifting that in the next fight. Balthazar's a bit of a toughie in hand to hand. Anyway, right now he's using his southpaw, so I need to roll 5 or better, I think. Maybe 4 or better. Well, it's a 3, so he's going to miss anyway. Talion is going to fire. Oh, wait a minute, that would be a 4 because he gets +1 because of the size, so I really do need to check that. At that range, out in the open, I think there's a possibility Balthazar might have just hit, so let me just double check that. So ranged attacks on page 39, within 6 inches and in the open would be, actually it would be a 3 or better. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, he did actually shoot the demon in the back. Good job there, Balthazar. Can he breach its armor though? Who knows? D6. His armor's 3, so he needs a 4, 5 or 6. Yes! He's breached the armor, so the thing is going to be stunned at the very least. Now, only on a 6 can he possibly injure the demon. And he didn't, but he did stun it. And that's good enough for me for now, at the very least. So let's stun him. And Talion is now going to open fire as well, and he also needs a 3 or better to hit. Ah, no. Oh yes, 3, because the demon's large. It's hit. It needs a 4, 5 or 6 to breach the armor. No, it just pinned off the armor. And finally we have Damastocles to go. So we'll 1 get to there, and that's about the end of the round. Now that means the demon's no longer stunned going into the next round, so I'll just take the stun off it. That's unfortunate, I could do with them still being stunned, and my various fighters are no longer going to advance. So let's just roll the initiative dice again. So I've got a 1 and a 2. Okay, so I think Balthazar is definitely going to be one of the ones. Because he gets... I don't know, because getting the drop on the demon in hand to hand might be... might be worth leaving that on. Yes, I'm going to. Leonidas is going to remain on the attack aggressively. I can't believe I'm doing this, but yes he is. And I scored 2, so who's on the 2? Ekanath or Kanji, isn't it? So Kanji, in fact Kanji accidentally marked on the 2 there. So Kanji and Leonidas were both our hand fighters. I'm going to take the 1 and the 2. Leonidas will take the 1, Kanji will take the 2, they go first. And they are... Leonidas is going to close to the attack first because he's the better fighter out of the 2. Kanji is going to need the extra +1 from having somebody in with him. So Leonidas has +3 in the top, that's speed, you would combat, +2, and the demon is large, so +1, that's +3 he's got in total to this dice roll. That's 9. The demon needs a 6 just to draw. He got a 6, so he's drawn, but he's pushed back 1 as well. So he's been pushed back again, and the melee has ended there. That means it's Kanji to go next, and Kanji is going to charge in with a battle axe and attack. So he gets +1 for Leonidas, +1 for the size of the demon, +2 on this dice roll, 7. The demon has been pushed back. 8. Demon's taken control of the fight, so he is now on the attack, and he's rolled a 1. That's only a 4. Kanji will draw on a 2 or win on anything higher. Oh no! Kanji's got a 1. It's the worst possible thing that could have happened to him. Oh wait, he gets +1 because of the size of the demon, and another +1 because of Leonidas. So actually he's got 3. But the demon had 4. Yep, the demon has indeed taken charge of the fight and has belted Kanji smack in the mouth as well. Damn. So, can it breach Kanji's armor? Is the question. Kanji's armor is light, so yeah, probably. He'll fail to breach it on a 1. 3, so he's breached it. So Kanji's at the very least stunned. But can he overcome Kanji's toughness? He gets +1 to this. Yep, he has. So that's Kanji down, because that is definitely his 2nd injury. So he's down to 0. So Kanji is taken out, and we might have to retreat at this point. We might have to pull our injured friend out of this fight and get away from here. Is I think what we are going to have to do. So let's make a start on that. That is the 2 fast actors going. So Balthazar is going to open fire, and Balthazar needs a 3 or a better to hit this thing. 1, he's missed. Talion's going to fire. 4, he's hit. So that's nice, but he's going to need to breach his armor 4, 5 or 6. 5, he's breached the armor, but he can only injure the beast on a 6. 1, oh no, that's not good enough. So that's that. So it's Ekanath to go next. So Ekanath's going to send the cat in, and his cat moves at 6. 1, 2, 3. Yes, it can get in. So it gets a +2 on its attack roll. It's now on the attack. That's 6, and the demon gets +3 on this. That's a 6, so the demon's bounced back again. Once more pushed backwards by the ferocity of this cat. And Ekanath's going to yell at everybody to grab your casualties and get out. This thing's too tough for us. let's go. So, and then he's going to lead by example, as he did coming in first. Thus, he tries to escape first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. He gets to there. Tally on. Doesn't have to be told twice. He's out of here. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And Damastocles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Now, I could spend a story point, which would automatically get us out of here safely. Might be worth doing that, actually. Might be worth doing that. But for now, let's just make a roll on the initiatives and see where I'm going to go from here. Do you know what? It's just occurred to me. If I just type this in, backslash roll 6d6, and we roll all 6 at once. So a 3, a 6, a 5, a 3, a 6, and a 1. So one person gets to act before everyone else, and it's going to be Leonidas. Leonidas, who is going to use that opportunity to grab Kanji and pull him out of here, and is going to run for it. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 with a dash. Now it's the demon to go, so it's attacking the cat. So it gets plus 3 on this dice roll. The cat only gets plus 1, so the demon scored 6. The cat has scored 2. So the cat is hit. The cat is hit. The demon has a no bonus to overcome the armor, but he's not wearing any armor. It's a plus 1 to overcome the toughness. So that's 3. He's failed. The cat has just shrugged this off. But the demon is still on the initiative, so it's still going to attack again. It's got a 5. The cat sees the initiative for the third exchange. The cat is going to go first, so the demon's dumped it, but it shrugged it off, and then it's going to swing again. The cat's ducked underneath and lunged forward, its saber teeth aiming for that juicy vein it thinks is running up the arm and into the armpit. It's going for that. D6. 5 plus 1 is 6. The demon 9. The demon's won that round of combat, so he avoids damage and would have seized the initiative for the next exchange, but there is no next exchange. So everybody else gets to go. So Leonidas has already gone. Can Ekanath squeeze through there? Yes, he can. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. He's dashing away. Balthazar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Damastocles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Excuse me, we are desperately trying to get out of here because this demon is just too much for us. We just can't take it at all, we don't think. So it's the next round, and we roll initiative again. So backslash roll 6d6. And 2 1s, so any two of my cat people can go first. So Ekanath's going to go first, and Telion's going to go first. So Telion will take his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, dash out there. Ekanath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and his cat will get to attack this demon. So cat will get plus 1 to hit. Has scored a 7. The demon has only scored a 4. The cat's hit him. The cat has hit him. So it has to get a 4, 5, or a 6 to breach his armor. And it did. It did. But it's going to need another 6 in order to wound him. Can it do it? No, it can't. It has, however, stunned him. So he doesn't get to take control of this round. So the cat is going to try that again, bolstered by having met with some success. It's 6, 7, so that's 8 it scored. Demon gets plus 3 on this. 5, 6, 7, 8, so it's drawn. The demon has bounced backwards, driven backwards by the severity of this cat, trying to get away from it. The cat has really been worth its salt during this fight. has to be set. So Leonidas now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Balthazar, and I think we're well out of it now, to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So we have had to run. That's what we've had to do this time, and we haven't made it out yet. So the next round, I think, will have to be fought. So backslash roll 6 space 6d6. And we have a 1 and a 2. So Ekanath is going to take the 2 so that he can go first. And I'll say Leonidas after that as well. No, I'll say Telion. So Telion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Really made it out. Ekanath, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And Ekanath's cat, who's bravely holding off this demonic thing. All by its what is. I said bravely, it is a summoned thing, so I'm not quite sure how what that means as far as if it's killed here. Is it killed or is it just sent back to where it was summoned? So D6 for the cat plus 1 because the demon is large, so that's a 7, and the demon gets plus 3. That's a 6, so the cat's hit him. Can he overcome the toughness? 4, 5 or 6 says yes. 6, yes, but he will need another 6 to wound the damn thing, which he failed to do, but that does mean he has stunned him nonetheless. So the demon's stunned, still on the back foot. The cat now gets plus 2 on his dice rolls. That's a 4, that's not good. Demon can only get a 4 or higher, so it's at least a draw. And he only got a 4, so that's a draw. So he's once again driven back by this cat, who's having none of it. Why? Demons, is it? Right. So, the rest of my cat people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Converging rapidly on the exit, but we still haven't quite made it out yet. Nonetheless, it's going into the next round, and the demon is no longer stunned because it's the end of that phase. So let's just roll the initiative for our warband again. Backslash roll 6d6, and that is 3 of us can go forward first, so Ekanath is definitely going to be one of them, and Leonidas, because he's carrying our fallen comrade, he's going to be the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Telion is going to make it out of here, so Telion has escaped. We'll just put him in the wall there to demonstrate that he's out of the battle. The cat is now coming in to have another go at this demon. It's really buying us the time to escape here, and it is plus 1 because the demon is so large. It's only scored 3. It's going to lose this exchange. Demon scored for 7, so the demon now seizes control of the battle. It's now the attacker. It's scored a 9. The cat has scored an 8. It's not good enough. The demons managed to hit him, unfortunately. That's a d6 to overcome the cat's toughness of 4. Oh no, and he's managed, so he's smashed the cat's skull and driven it back to the ether from which it was summoned in the first place down at the thing. Actually, we'll just take it off because it's going to disappear as a summoned beast, isn't it? So we need to get the hell out of dodge really quickly because this thing's no longer being held off by that cat. So luckily for us, it's a new round. So let's just see how many people. I'll just type it actually. Backslash roll 6d6. And Oh dear, right, okay, so we're all going last. Well, one of us can go first if it's Ekanath or Kanji. Kanji's unconscious, so it can't be him. So Ekanath will take the 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Do a dash. 1, 2, 3. Then the demon is going to, enraged, it's going to come after us now. I don't think it ever knew. Actually, it must have known it was getting shot from behind, but it won't have known which of this or this entrance from behind it was getting shot at. So I think it's going to have to come the other way. However, it does know where the only exit is, and it knows we're running for that. So I think it's going to take the shortest route. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These things can't dash. So we're going to be away before this thing does. So I'm not bothered to roll initiative because we're all going to make it out of here. We're exploding out of this cave as fast as anything will carry us. Our first standing up on end, our wide, terrified eyes as we flee into the night, into the darkness, away from this creature. And that does bring me to something we haven't done before. We haven't rolled on the flight in the dark chart, which we're going to have to make a roll on now because we've run away like big scaredy cats. We very definitely are at this point. So running away is 51. Page 51. Running away, character morale, blah blah blah. Enemy morale, let's not worry about that. The demon was never in any danger. Flight in the dark table after the battle, but doesn't tell me what page that is on. So back to the beginning and check for a flight in the dark table, which I think will be in the appendices if I'm strictly honest. If I check the roster sheet, okay, so it's not, so I was wrong. Flight in the dark chart. Now where might I find counters, bombs, just appendices, collecting convertible characters, game adjustments, signing notes, indices, and roster sheet. Okay, this is definitely resolution, loot, enemy plans, victory and defeat. It'll be that, because we have been very much defeated by this one. So victory and defeat. Clearing the effect, clearing a region, play victory. No, this is for the entire campaign. So, the hell is the flight in the dark chart? Because there's no page number given, and I don't see it in the contents page either. Especially terrain, location, non-combat range attacks, melee combat hits, spellcasting, running away. You'd think it would be at the end of that, but I didn't see it. I'm going to try again in a second, because I genuinely can't think where else it would be, really. Yeah, I can't think where else it would be, so I'll go back. Do you know? It's not. It's actually not there at all. And that leaves me with... wait, I think I just found it. No, those are spells. Okay, so there is no indication of where I need to look for this, so I'm going to run a search, and if that doesn't find it, what I'll do then is call it a day for now, and I'll go and look it up, and I'll tell you at the start of the next one. But first of all, let me just run a flight in the dark table. Right, so again it's mentioned it, but without a page number, and again it's on the same. Whoa. No, it's a special ability. I can't find it at all. I really don't know where to look. It's just constantly referenced but without a page number. Flight in the Dark table again, no page number. Flight in the Dark table again, no page number. Same there. Same there. Same there. Right. Okay. So aha. See page 188. So I finally found a reference to its page number. 188. But it's the only time it does seem to be referenced, as far as I can tell. So here we are at page 188. Flight in the Dark. Let's find out what happened to. That's in the resolution stage. Do you know what? That would be an obvious place to have looked. I'm such a tool sometimes. Okay, so there were quite a few of these. Injury Tales, Flight in the Dark, Heroes. Oh wow, okay, so everybody has to make a roll, is that right? Characters may suffer consequences from what happened in the battle. If a character was removed from the battle as a casualty, they must roll D100 on the injury table, so that's what's going to happen to Kanji. Retreating from a battle may force certain characters to make a D100 roll on the Flight in the Dark table below. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. It's possible they'll have died while they run away as well. Okay, so let's start with Kanji. Kanji was injured, so we need a D100 roll for Kanji. 30. So Kanji is seriously injured. I have to roll 2d6 and roll and select the highest number. So that's 3. So Kanji is out for 3 battles. Kanji out for 3 rounds. It's campaign rounds. On campaign round 3. Oh no, and now I'm going to start rolling for everybody else. So this is where a luck point might come in or a story point might come in, depending on how good or bad these numbers are. So let's start with Ekanath. And Ekanath rolls 78 on the injury, not the injury table, sorry, the Flight in the Dark table. So he escaped unharmed. Leonidas. Let's see what happened with Leonidas next. He rolled 32, that doesn't sound so good to me. Flight in the Dark, 32. He's lost an item of equipment. Oh no. Okay, so he wore a helmet. He had partial armor. It's unlikely to be that, to be fair. He was carrying a bastard sword. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1 or 2 it's a bastard sword. 3 or 4 it's the helmet. Anything else and it's somehow the armor. Stripped it off to run faster, presumably. Oh no, he's lost his armor. He's lost the partial armor. This is a disaster. This is an absolute disaster. Really could have done without losing a suit of partial armor. I do have another one, but even so, I'm going to have to juggle things a little bit next time. So that's Leonidas, who obviously couldn't manage to carry Kanji without stripping off his armor, so he was forced to leave that behind in order to carry his wounded comrade. So let's find out what happened to Balthazar next, shall we? So Balthazar rolled to 26. This is going to be even worse, isn't it? No, it's exactly the same. Balthazar has lost some equipment. Anything he loses is going to be a problem, because he's either going to lose the other suit of partial armor or the self bow. 1 to 3, and it's a suit of partial armor. Anything else, and it's the self bow. It's a self bow. No, 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 no! Now I'm down to a single archer. Oh god. Okay. Oh, this is not going well at all, is it? So what's up next? We have Teleon, who's a follower, so they use a different table. So D100. 100. Let's have a look. 28. Oh no! No, no, no. Telion died. Telion was caught while we were fleeing and killed. Our archer, our second archer, was killed. Luckily, I think we can recover the equipment, but I'll check on that. But Telion, who was shaping up to be such a great character, I had aims to promote him to hero when I got a chance, but he didn't make it. As we were fleeing, the creature came after us, and Telion obviously decided to hold it off and buy some time for the rest of us to escape. Let's see what happened to Demastocles, the second follower. Let it not be as bad as that, please. Come on, get 76 to 100, so nothing happened. That was great. 14, no, he was killed as well. Oh no. No, Demastocles is also down. Ah, man. We've lost both of our followers. They obviously clearly bravely held the rear once this thing came thundering out of the caves after us, and unfortunately they fell and were never seen again. We're forced to retreat home and lick our wounds. 2 dead and 1 injured. What a terrible, terrible result for Ekanath's Panthers. Well, that'll teach us to be a little bit more cautious in the future. Do you know what? I think I might... No, I'm not going to take the silver leaf to see if Kanji is back in the fight fast enough. I don't think we're going to do that. Lucky character. Character with luck points may ignore a result from the injury or flight in a dark table by spending a luck point. Only Ekanath had that. He was the only one that had no negative effects anyway. I'm just going to double check, but I'm pretty sure nobody else had luck. No, nobody else has luck. Well, we've lost half of our equipment. We've lost both of our followers. We have an injured cat. This has been a disaster. Trying to fight this demon, it was just too much for us. We'll know in future. Let's see what else we have to go through in the resolution step, shall we? So, collect adventure points. I don't think we're going to get any here. Depending on the battle you just fought, you now receive adventure points to which you are entitled. Add together any of the following activities that occurred. Victorious, no. Victorious, no. Defeat an aberration, no. Defeat, no. Finish a contract, absolutely no. Oh, wait a minute, we did finish a contract in the last term that I had forgotten about. So we should have had an adventure point for that, which is nice. It's not going to do us a great deal of good at this point. I'm wishing now I'd spent that story point and got us all out of there in good order. I'm just gonna check and see whether you can choose to spend those retrospectively, or if I had to decide them before the rolls. I think probably it'll have been before we made the rolls, but I'm just gonna make a quick check on that. Do you know what? I think I might just let it stand either way. No, I've got 4 of them, but yeah. Use special effects. Yeah, there's not really much I can do, unfortunately. So yeah, bad day for the good guys there. But thank you very much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the game. I've enjoyed it, even though I well and truly got my ass handed to me by that demon. I had a feeling that was going to happen when we generated it. I thought, this is not looking good, but I'm going to give it a try. But it was actually the running away which did us all the damage in the long run. Well, we'll know that for future. I'll just check and see if there's any other resolutions we should have taken. We might be due some experience points, but I don't know. So step 2, check for injuries, which we've done. Step 3, check for advancement. During the campaign turn, your heroes will have acquired some experience points if they survive an encounter, slain, aberration, or an enemy leader, or held the field. Okay, so I will check for my experience points between games and tell you at the next time. Settling in is our next step. If you're in the same map area as a settlement, you can begin the next campaign turn. We'll begin that in the next show. News travels on the news table below to see what news reaches you from other lands. Well, let's at least roll that and find out what people tell us whilst we are trying to lick our wounds, both figuratively and indeed physically. A virulent disease has spread. Randomly select a settlement you cannot visit it next campaign turn. If you're currently in the settlement, you must camp instead. Well, things have just gotten worse and worse, haven't they? But let's find out which of the 3 settlements is currently suffering the plague, shall we? So 1 or 2, and it's the one we're in, and 3 or 4, and it's Shambhala Market. Anything else is the camp we first arrived at. So 1 or 2 for where we are, 3 or 4 for Shambhala Market. 3 or 4 Shambhala Market currently has a bit of a plague going, so we can't reach that next round. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Next session we will find out what happens next, where we go from here after that disastrous defeat, and how we manage to get our warband back on the right track. Hope you've enjoyed the game. Thank you very much. It just remains for me to say, do stay safe, take care, but from me, for now, good night.